Obviously follow to feed your body,
I think you're avoiding the issue then.
You must have your shave, and you must have your this, and you must have this and that, and so many innumerable things that you do it to sheer habit. You can put them off, you see, for some days, but still you have to do it. You do it. And there is no note of protest there. On the contrary, well, says, well, I have to be like this. I have to do it. But when
the external order helps internal order? Like you're very orderly around here, you
yeah. What do you mean by external order and internal order?
Well, I don't know, my house is a mess and I feel terrible. It doesn't help me. I tidy everything up and kind of keep it orderly, helps the inside.
Of course, yeah, that's true. It needs to. Baba always insisted on that. Anything misplaced, displaced, even a thing that is to be kept straight, if it is wacky, Baba says, who does this? Why can't you keep it straight? He emphasized on tidiness, keeping at its proper place. A slight here and there. He told us to a certain degree that anything that is taken from a certain place, you must replace it there when you put it back. It must be at that proper place and in the proper fashion. Suppose if it has its label in front of you, don't put it wacky like that. It must be there. A pencil putting on the table or a book, you have to place it straight, not just throw it like that. That's how he insisted on it. It is important to be tidy. That's true. Orderliness is necessary.
But all these things are like orderliness. You get up, you do your little orderly things. They're like orderly.
Yeah. Same thing with this also. And that's what I'm saying. Our prostrations, our supplications, our ringing the bell to make him alert that I have come. Now please listen to me. Our burning incense, our keeping the place clean, putting flowers, all this is necessary. These are the steps, you see, that lead us beyond rites and rituals. And nobody has a right to criticize any other person who is involved in such things. The right can be had to one who has transcended the stage. When you transcend that stage, then all this matters little. It doesn't exist. Not even your prayers don't exist. You don't go to pray. Yeah. Nothing is there. And when is that? That no sooner you utter his name, all of a sudden you get goosebumps on you. Your hair stand at their ends, you see. That is the situation at that time when all this gradually, as if the dry leaves just are shed. At that time, nothing matters. But before that, all this is there. It should be so. And if you don't want to involve yourself, don't involve, but at least desist from trying to be critical about anybody. That's what he would say. He has told us. Why did he tell us that? Because we lived with him. What about the householder? What about the ones who have not heard his name? What will bring them to him? All these are the things that will get them closer and closer and closer and closer to, And when he comes in our midst, not this Advent, but all past Advents, he has said the same thing. I want to abolish all rites, rituals and ceremonies. That's his lookout, his business. How will he abolish unless and until we are involved in it? There will be nothing to abolish if we are out of it. Every time he comes, that means it goes on. So the expression of the heart is that. Our expression of heart is quite different. We have a different perspective of him. She may be having a different perspective of him. He might be having something else to please him. So each one has his own right to approach him in the way he or she wants. But if you insist on that is the end, then it's not right, not proper. That is the means to an end. Yeah.
And Marina made a nice comment once about the new life would be live and let live.
Yeah, that's right. That is the right thing. We have such tendencies, all of us have that. That which doesn't appeal to us, we become cynical. Not knowing what's the depth in it, you see. Yeah. We see the surface, but what is at the bottom of it all, we don't know. We don't even realize, we don't even want to know. But very cynical smile spreads, you see, on our face. How we look at somebody else and just keep quiet, you see. But that shouldn't be our attitude. That shouldn't be our attitude.
Sometimes you do that, you find you've been critical or intolerant of somebody. Sometimes you find that you've been critical or intolerant of someone or what they've done. You find out later what the meaning was behind it.
Yeah.
You feel ashamed. It's very limited of you.
Yeah. We learn from that also. What can you do? And on the other hand, it is good to have some party who is critical of us. It's advantageous, provided you take it in the right spirit.
It's very difficult.
Yeah.
I find how surprised I am how you always say, what do I care what someone thinks? And how sensitive you really are.
Yeah, it is very essential that we should have criticism all around us. At the same time, one should have that bearing. Well, it's good. It gives us. It's like a prod, making you alert, awake, aroused. Yeah, it's like that. When you are feeling dopey and all that.
But Eric, if criticism is good for us, what about the other side?
The other side is not. It's not good for that person.
Well, if everyone refrained from criticizing, how would we get the critiques that we need?
So then we come to the conclusion that both sides are fair. It should be so, as it is. But we should rise above criticism at the same time. Yeah.
The criticism that seems to work best is criticism that has love behind it. Then it's taken much better than criticism that has a supercilious note or has some kind of a...
Yeah, that is true.
We need to correct sometimes.
There's a fine story about it, about this criticism business and the nagging and all that sort of thing. There was a certain master, and it so happened that there was an aspirant who needed a certain type of help in his progress towards the goal. So he went from one master to another master and all that. At last there was a certain master who directed him to go and contact for the answer to your query. Contact so and so at a distant town. So poor fellow sets out wanting to contact him. And he goes there where the address was given to him. He knocks at the door and the door is opened by a lady. He says, "Yeah, what do you want?" He says, "I'm in search of the master who lives here." "Oh, that fool, that idiot who has spoiled so many people's lives, ruined them almost, and you are in search of him?" And he was taken aback. He said, "What's the matter?" He says, "Yeah, I have been told to go in search of him, and I have been given the address that he lives here. Does he live here?" He says, Yeah. Not only that, but I am his wife. I tell you what, I live with him, and I know who he is. You should know that I know better than what you know, or somebody else who has sent you here." And he is so sad at heart that he traveled all that distance, and this is the reply that he gets. He's wondering, now that he has come to that town, what to do. So he says, "Well, let it be, whatever it be so." He goes to the town, in the marketplace and all that, and he seems to be preoccupied. So somebody says, "You want something? takes pity on him and says, "Is there anything that you want? You seem to be a stranger over here. What is it that you want?" He says, "No, I just came here, in search of truth, and I was directed by a master to come and contact a master over here. I at last found the house, and this is the response I had. I don't know where to find him, who is he, what is he, and all that." He says, "Look, if you want that person, I know where he is." So where is he? He says, "You go to that yonder mountain. By this time, he must have collected all the fuel, wood, and all that, and he must be coming down, returning to his place. If you go there, you'll accost him. Go there." So he goes in that direction, and sure enough, there he sees somebody riding astride a tiger. On the tiger is put a bundle of dry twigs and all that, and on that he is seated, you see, like a palanquin, and coming down the hill. From a distance he sees somebody there. So he goes there and sees a peculiar sight. What is this? Who is this person? So person comes down, and he's afraid of the tiger, and he's afraid of this sight that he sees. So the man on the tiger says, "Don't be afraid, I am the one whom you are seeking." He's astonished. He says, "Are you so and so?" He says, "Yeah, I am the one." "Who sent you?" "He sent you here?" He says, "Yeah." "How do you know?" "It's because my wife. It's because of my wife." So, "What do you mean? Did she send a word to you?" He says, "No. Everything is due to my wife. Not only my knowing that you have been sent by so and so, but this sight that you are seeing, my subduing these beasts and many other things that I have subdued, is all due to my wife. She is so dear to me. Had she not been there, I wouldn't have reached this height." So criticism is good.
Socrates used to do that, choose the worst tempered wife to find.
Yeah.
That's what Upasni Maharaj said too. Upasni Maharaj said the same thing.
Yeah.
So did Cat Stevens.
Pardon?
There was a song by Cat Stevens, A Hard-Headed Woman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whether that person be a woman or a man, it is immaterial, as long as we learn something of our own self through the other person. Otherwise, it's no good.
What do you mean by criticism? Say something bad about someone,
Yeah.
but isn't sometimes say something bad about
Criticism
someone.
is like this. What makes you sit like this? Can't you sit on a chair? Yeah. Why do you keep your hair like this? Why do you want to have this sort of thing? What's all this? Why are so many bangles? You come to Meher Baba's place and all that. You see, that's all. You follow it? All this glittering there, what is that? Why do you want to have a sock? Can't you be bare feet? That's all.
Yes, but isn't that many times you criticize someone because you envy, like, why is she wearing that dress? Because you envy that she's wearing a beautiful dress, or because you are really like
Insecure.
insecure.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like doctors say you criticize because insecurities and envies.
The thing is that what we are talking about criticism is trying to find fault in others. When a person is criticizing, is trying to find fault in you for anything that you have done, you have said, or anything like that. So when the person tries to find fault in you, although you may not be faulty at that time, yet you become alert. You learn lesson from that. So that's how criticism is a happy thing for one. But it's not a happy thing for the one who criticizes it. Yeah. For him, he should not do it.
Really?
But what is it?
Well, wait a minute though, don't you think it's also an unhappy thing for the person who's criticized?
No, on the contrary, he should be grateful to him, he should be beholden to him. This is what we were talking about.
Even if it has nothing to do with
Yeah,
if it's done
because
over and over again.
because it alerts us, it awakens us, it arouses us, you see. And yeah. There is a healthy criticism, there is unhealthy criticism, whatever it be, it helps us to find ourselves. And what is needed is
Because we're made to be that much more alert to ourselves, right?
yeah. Keeps us straight, keeps us trim and everything. Keeps us healthy, in short. But that we don't like, because I am my own. Who the hell is somebody to tell me anything about it?
That's right.
And then there is the back reply criticizing the other person. It's not good for you to criticize anybody without knowing anything. Remember that. Yeah. Meher Baba doesn't like anybody to criticize anybody. So we go on playing this game. It's a drama. But the one who has been aroused by the love of the Lord becomes very soft, very mild. So it's for my benefit. Although it doesn't apply to me, but it is good to know that he sees such a thing in me, so I must improve. That's how. I must find my real self. You see? Yeah. It's
Isn't there such a thing as going nuts with criticism? I mean, just having so much of it that you can't stand it any longer?
Yeah, because you cannot stand because you are you. When you are not there, when you are his, then you become like a child. Yeah. Because you assert, you want to have your I properly presented, you see. I am. And there's nothing wrong in it. It is true. You are, I am. But you are linked to him. That amness comes from him. You forget that.
The next thing I want to ask you is, I was telling Raphael this morning that I was going to tell you, I'm sick of it already. I want to get rid of it. I'm telling you how to get rid of my mind. The ego. I want to get rid of it. It's time, Eric. This is it.
It cannot be. All that you need to do, the ego is such a thing that it's your own individuality. If you do away with your I, then what's the sense in it? What needs is that ego has to be transformed, transmuted into the real ego. The false ego, the falseness that we are, has to be transmuted into real. That's all. And this is the process. It has to be sublimated, in short.
If you criticize and you're not into the small I, then that criticism becomes a whole different thing. It's basically what you're saying.
You have to become big, because you see, we are so tiny. We are just a drop, and we think that we are the ocean. That's the melody. That's all. In short, that's why we feel insulted. I don't know what to say. I am somebody. Even if I know that I am nobody, but I still feel that I am somebody. There has been, all these are true stories. There was an aspirant who was not only intellectual person formally, but he had shed all that and realized the thing that all this book learning and all this is no good. But still, his learning was there, isn't it? He was a learned person. Not only that, he used to teach others. At last he says, this won't do, I am just where I am. So at that time there lived a perfect master. So he goes there to that particular city there and tries to contact him. The door is shut. So he knocks at the door. Says, who's that? I am so and so. I have no time to see you. Finish. He goes back. But the impact of those words is, I have no time to see you, see me, who is so learned and so big. I am a teacher, I have a following, and yet this man, who is such a simple person, has no time to see me. What is he doing? So, all this starts playing upon his mind. He goes there again, and instead of giving his long name with all the degrees and all that, he simply says, who is that? Again he knocks at the door. Who's that? Simply says, Eraj, I have no time to see you. And he goes again. There's a story, the whole thing to cut the short is that he comes to the conclusion that as long as he asserts himself that he is somebody, the master feels that way, so I must say. So then again he knocks and he goes there. He says, who is that? He says, I'm nobody. So the master opens the door and says that as long as you are nobody, still that nobody seems to be somebody in you. So let that nobody and somebody vanish, and then you enter the door. Then you knock again. He comes after another time. Means it takes some years, mind you. And he knocks and says, who are you? He says, whatever you wish to call me. Come inside. He receives him with great honor and all that. That's what is needed. Which is almost sounds to be almost impossible for each one of us. But that's the only way. That is spirituality. Effacing oneself. That is advancement. Gradual effacement is the advancement. There's no other advancement. No amount of your being a marathon runner can ever lead you to the goal. No. Be where you are and begin to wear yourself out. That is the thing. That is needed. That's what is said.
It's almost like doing the thing that's most difficult for you to do almost all the time. I mean, it's almost to that point that's where effacement is.
It sounds to be difficult. Why? Because we consider ourselves to be somebody. That is the thing, you see. That notion which has become a habit of reincarnation, has to be worn out. Disappointments in life, frustrations in life, suffering in life gradually wears this out. You follow?
Yeah, so that eventually.
Or by the grace of the master.
Right.
Yeah.
So that eventually nothing has any. You don't value anything.
Nothing. It has no value whatsoever.
Right.